Film number 2 of today is Just Mercy, released January the 17th, 2020, directed by Destin Cretton. We had Michael B. Jordan as Brian Stevenson, Jamie Foxx as Walter McMillan, Brie Larson as Eva Ansley, and Rafe Spall as Tommy Chapman. World-renowned civil rights defence attorney Brian Stevenson works to free a wrongly condemned death row prisoner.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Hey!
Kyle, were you entertained?
Yes.
Amari, were you entertained?
Yes.
Giles, were you entertained?
Yes.
Full House, I was entertained as well. Kyle, let's start off with you, if you're entertained. What about this film did you enjoy?
I enjoyed...
That was a complete
Hey, leave that in. Leave that in.
Sorry about
leave
that,
that in. Don't edit that out.
I wasn't trying to sabotage
Wow.
you.
That was like
Man came with the Undertaker.
That's what I'm saying. What's he trying to do, man?
Right, let's try that again. Kyle, what did you find entertaining about Just Mercy?
I thought the overall storyline was very good. I liked the actual message and what the guy was actually trying to do. The fact it was real as well. I enjoyed that, but I thought the performances, particularly Jamie Foxx, very, very good.
Listen.
But performances all round in the film were very good. What you did? Who did you not like?
Who were you not feeling?
I've realised that Michael B. Jordan has a one type of character arc behaviour.
It's because he's got one face. He's got this. He pulls the same expression.
I thought he did a good performance.
I feel like he's done the same performance just with a different storyline for all the films that I recognise or recommend to people to see. We don't rate for what he did in Creed because any black guy could have just been Apollo Creed's son.
And it's rubbish.
Well, that's another part of it. But when I think about his other roles that I remember him being in, he's played the same person.
Have you seen Fruitvale?
Yeah. For me, he's played the same person, just with a different actual...
Since Wallace. Since Wallace and The Wire. Since he died.
No, but
His acting skills died with Wallace
Literally.
in The Wire.
Literally.
I disagree.
But I'm not saying he doesn't... He's done this different films or different film genres, but his actual character... or the way he's portrayed the character is the same set of skills.
But are you saying it wasn't a good performance though?
I just think it's just an average performance. You said it was good. You said you were all wrong. I don't put him in that category. He was not I don't put him in the same category as even the dumb district attorney or whatever he was, because that wag was lost and confused. I thought his performance was more compelling with his smaller role than Jordan's was.
Interesting. I disagree. I thought it was a good performance.
I think it was good. It wasn't
Great.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
It was a
It was
stellar,
solid.
for me, it was a stellar performance from him.
Yeah.
It was a solid performance. I like the way the film opened and set up everything. Just him meeting the guy on death row. And
Wait,
then-
before that,
The first meeting of Death Row.
the first opening scene is that timeless scenario: black man, white cop, intimidation.
Hang on, before we even
Get to that scene.
before we even break that scene down, there's one thing that stood out from that scene for me. Jamie Foxx's moustache.
You mean the porn star moustache?
Oh my gosh.
It was epic.
No, it was serious. It
listen.
was serious.
very.
The day I grow a moustache that thick and that moustachey, I don't need to live another day on this earth.
Yeah, it was serious. It
Listen.
was like a belt on his upper lip.
That
It was
moustache was, and then to compound it even further, man had the baseball cap on with the tufts of hair coming out either side.
Nah.
If he don't win an Oscar for that, like we put it on the anyway. You took a picture of that.
Yeah.
bruv.
It's going in the group. It's
Yeah.
going in the group. It might even be the display picture for a week or so. But on the subject of Jamie Foxx, I just want to say one thing and see what you boys think. Now, obviously, I know he can act. I know he's a serious actor. But where I know him from entering the entertainment industry as a comedian, stand-up, which is acting in itself, sometimes I watch him acting and I'm just like astounded at how good of an actor he is.
He's levels.
Especially when I know he can sing.
He's levels.
He's got the comedy. Like he's got so many different talents.
Facets.
He's probably one of the most underrated actors.
Oh yeah. Well,
100%.
Do you know what?
I wouldn't say he's underrated though.
No,
I think people do rate
Do you know
him.
what? I agree with your statement, but I'm going to take it for. I say he's one of the most underrated entertainers because he's not just an actor.
Oh yeah. I agree with
Across the
that.
board,
Yeah.
he is levels.
And that's what I'm saying. Like he's excelled in every one of
Yeah,
those
yeah,
facets.
yeah,
Do you
yeah.
see what
He's
I'm saying?
levels. He's blatantly levels.
From very early, and I think it's the first scene, I think that you mentioned, Kyle Lamari, where he meets Michael B. Jordan, Brian Stevenson, and that's when he gets introduced to him.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the first scene
with the
in
church,
the film.
with the other guys from the church.
Yeah, this is
And they
before
were
he's
singing.
even past the bar.
Yeah.
The
It's when he's an
very
intern.
first scene.
When
He's an intern.
Oh, with the other guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Right.
they
They
say that they're both basically from the similar background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they're singing together, and then
And you see
when
one
the guard takes him away.
but it's funny because you see one guy who had a break and one guy who didn't have a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
But
Yeah.
it was his break was his execution is not till at least another year.
That's
So
right.
now
And
he
man
can
was
let
happy.
people come and visit.
Yeah.
Do you know how
That's
mad
deep.
that is?
Yeah,
That
it
was
was deep.
deep, man.
That was deep. That was deep.
That was deep.
On that subject, I mean, obviously the whole theme of the film, it has been done a million times. It will be done a million times more. But whenever I watch a film or anything that is going to tap into that sort of racism, struggle, wrongly accused, all that kind of stuff, obviously, as black men, it is gonna hit home a little bit. So you take a little bit more interest. So I'm always very intrigued to see how something's executed, and I think they've done well with this. I won't say it's the best film that I've ever seen that tackles a subject like this or has subject matters in it, but I think throughout the whole film, everything about it I thought was good. The only thing I didn't like was some of the music at times. It felt a little bit cheap. I don't know if that's just because my ears have become accustomed to Hans Zimmer scores, but I felt like there was certain parts where it just felt a bit. They could have used the music as a tool to really bring across more emotion and more of a struggle. But other than that, and the way it was filmed as well was very nice. That kind of, it had like a sort of sheen over it, and it felt older than it was because I think it's set in the late 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
88 to 93, 94.
Yeah. But
Why do I think it was longer?
Well, the time period.
Yeah.
He was in prison for 6 years. So.
no, it was around that time because
Yeah.
he went. I think the court date was
Okay.
around 92.
Okay.
And
90.
but you know what part of the things that hurt me in the film was they kept on saying, oh, they did Mockingbird, it happened right here.
Yeah.
And then it's like, do you want to go see Mockingbird? And I was
They
like-
did that deliberately,
and
innit?
I
Yeah,
was
of course.
Like, you people don't even know that you are wankers. You're just doing it and you don't even realise. And I was like, oh, what? This is in 92. So the racism was still peak back in 90. Not even
bro.
that fact that it was peak, because you knew it was peak.
No, but I
But
know-
you're still
I
getting
know
away
exactly
with the
what you're
blatant.
in the
saying.
South.
Yeah,
I know
you
exactly
was
what you're
thinking
saying.
you were doing the subtle ones. No, but doing in your face blatantly.
Yeah.
And I was like,
And
bruh.
off of that, I got to drop one bomb for Rafe Spall. Serious guy, very serious. Because the minute I saw him, I forgot who he was, but I was like, when you watch a film, I know that guy. And I said to John, oh, you seen Just Mercy? He's like, yeah, that guy that's playing the sort of other lawyer opposing Michael B. Jordan. I said, we've spoken about him in a film before, Men in Black International. Then obviously we've done the research. So our guy from Black Mirror, he was excellent. I thought his performance was very.
Because he's British, isn't he?
Yeah.
And his accent was it didn't waver.
You didn't know.
That's it. And I think you said, Amari, Michael B. Jordan needed another character directly opposing him to really work. I thought Rafe Spall done an excellent
their
job.
scenes together are really good. Like even towards the end when he went to his house, and he, like you, I felt that what's his name, Rafe Spall. I like the conflict that his character. The conflict was always there, but he chose to ignore it until it overweighed his conscience.
Because there was that scene when he was in his house.
Yeah.
And he was watching the 60 Minutes with his
Yeah.
wife.
Yeah. And
his
the way she looked at him.
She's like, so what are you doing right
Yeah.
now? Because
Yeah.
and I know. And I'm not. And I was like,
we got to drop a bomb for that sheriff. His
Oh,
boss.
Tate, Tom Tate.
He was not shifted.
Nah.
You know the ones in the courtroom.
The look of disdain man gave him when he was like, all right, we'll support the dropping
No,
of the
it
charges.
wasn't even his look. It was the look he was giving to everyone in the courtroom.
everyone got set.
When the guy said, "Oh,
in that
did you-
suede jacket.
Did you do this because you were getting threatened?" And you just see man in the background just look.
Yeah.
Because did you clock the way Michael B. Jordan actually went and stood in front of
front of him, so he couldn't see
to
him,
block off the highlight.
No, he was still looking.
right through him.
Yeah, no,
that was the only thing I didn't like. I didn't like they didn't show what happened to him at the end of the film.
With the sheriff, they did.
The sheriff.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
He got after me.
He got voted until last year.
Basically,
Until last year.
Is it?
He was the sheriff until last year, bro.
Until he basically
Till
died.
2019.
Yeah.
Until he basically
He got
couldn't do it
voted in
yeah.
about
I
between
don't
6 or
even
8 times.
remember seeing that.
Re-elected.
afterwards.
And I
They
think-
said that in the film.
Yeah, right at the end, bro. At the end.
It was one of the ending slides.
Okay.
So yeah, because after the trial's done, like to be fair, I think you don't really hear him say anything else after.
Because I wanted to know, was there any reparation? Like what happened to him?
You're in the South.
nothing.
No,
It's the same thing
he,
as the other
he
judge.
just got kept on getting
He
re-elected.
got a pay rise,
Okay.
mate. That's what happened. You know, it's mad. But even that, it's like, you know, I watch these films. I think the last film that kind of touched me like this was Black Klansman. And you know when it becomes, you know when you're watching a film, even though if you know it's historical, whatever, sometimes it's not relatable because we're living in 2019, 2020, this happened in the past. So, you know, you're going to be like, okay, I know this happened, but it's not happening now. But when it kind of is like, but hang on, this guy was still in charge of this area till last year. And you're like, oh, wow. Like, okay, this shit I'm seeing is still, you know, people are still getting put in positions of power when
Yeah.
you know how immoral their mindset
I mean,
is.
I like this film. I mean, I'm a sucker for a Bunny Ears true story.
Yeah, same.
Because again, as we've talked about in previous episodes, the facts aren't always the facts as they're presented. But I'd like to believe, and I'm waiting for Murray to tell us that they're not the facts.
The checker.
That this was a kind of a true account of what actually took place.
But just off of that, I mean, I agree with that, but I feel that it stayed true to what I believe is the truth because not that much happens.
Right.
There doesn't really seem. I mean, the only sort of it could get a bit grey is when we're talking about the guy with the who looks like he's had a stroke.
So that was Tim Blake Nelson.
That's it.
So he actually was, for me, was the best performance. He gave the best performance.
His performance.
Because even when you looked, you might have missed it. If you looked at the character that he was portraying at the end,
I thought it was him.
bruv.
I actually thought, wait,
And
did they
again,
get the real
now-
guy? It looked exactly.
I've recently
like him.
watched. Old TBN, as we're gonna now call him, in The Watchmen. Again, another fantastic TV series. And he, when I saw him, I was like, that's the guy from Watchmen. Like he totally kind of captivated me, and how he stayed in character, like twisting up his mouth like that, and all the rest of it.
The walk,
It was
the speech,
It was
everything.
good.
Nah,
It was levels.
So that's why, like, when I think, who was it at the beginning? You said about performances. You said the performances were great all round.
Yeah,
They were.
A lot of them were. I know what you mean. Like, there might have been some which were like, oh, not as hitting, but I'd like to look at it like, well, there was a lot of good performances. So, Kyle, what about your mate O'Shea? How did you think he got
Good
on?
performance. I thought he didn't really have much to do.
He didn't
to be
have much
fair.
to do.
He didn't, but. For
what
what
he
he
did.
did, I wasn't annoyed. Put it that way.
I tell
Is he
you,
off watch?
Nah, he never went on watch.
Yeah, he
Oh,
did.
did he?
No,
I swear
he
he did.
definitely
He
went
did.
on watch.
No,
he definitely been
went
on
on
watch.
watch.
He
Because
went on
watch.
you're so angry
no.
about. You're so angry from him.
He didn't go on watch.
It was Ken
No, it was
Watanabe.
Ken.
No,
Yeah.
get both.
And then O'Shea.
O'Shea went on watch as well.
Nah, trust me.
O'Shea went on
I've been
watch.
listening to the show.
No.
He wasn't on
There
watch.
was another film he was in.
Yeah, it was
So
just.
he was in two films.
He was in two films.
Yes,
The
I
second
was
one put him on
Yeah.
watch.
But he didn't go and watch
He
though.
did.
It was just, I just couldn't believe.
By association.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it was him again.
Yeah.
in the
It was
second
after
one.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
It was after Godzilla.
Oh, he was definitely
got
on
put on
watch.
watch.
No,
Everyone in
trust me.
Godzilla is now on watch. How you mean?
Nah, he did alright.
Nah, I thought he done alright.
Did alright.
Talking about other performances, Brie Larson was.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a weird one because I expected her to have a bigger part.
No, but what I did like is that I remember that she can act.
Yeah, that's what I've written as well.
Instead of forgetting that she's just a
These are
character.
the sort of roles she should be doing. She shouldn't be doing Captain Marvel. that's not her lane.
serious.
It's not her lane.
That's not her skill set.
She's good at
Hey, but
these sort
when
of
that Marvel
performances.
money comes, what you gonna do when Marvel money comes knocking for you?
You think you're running away from me?
That's what I'm saying,
Give it to
bruv.
me. Give it to me. How? No.
We're gonna write a number, and we're gonna keep adding zeros till you say yes.
Yeah, facts.
Nah, she done well. A good supporting actor.
Yeah.
Or actress, I think.
I just expected her to have more scenes.
But you know what?
Yeah.
I kind of like when more established actors don't. Like, that's a conversation I think we had outside of the cast about me and you, Carl, about 1917. But I like when you kind of see a face that you know is, okay, you're a big guy or a big, you know, but they don't steal the limelight. They kind of just add to it.
They're not in it for them. They're just they're there because they actually like
Want
being
to act.
Yeah,
Yes.
they like being an actor.
Yeah,
So they can,
yeah, definitely. On this, going back to our conversation about Jamie Foxx, he just, from the minute the film starts, each scene he just kept taking it up. I didn't get a chance to write a lot of the script down, but there were a lot of bars. Like, I think one of them, the ones that stuck in my mind, because it ties into something else I wanted to say on a quick one. Michael B. Jordan's suit game. Kyle, I know you loved it. I know you appreciated it. I was feeling it. Every scene there was a different suit. Amari, why are you looking like that?
You sure?
90
not
suits,
agreed.
though. 90 suits, man.
No, I feel like there was.
I
many,
liked it, man.
I
I
thought there
liked
was
it.
many. I'm not gonna. I could be wrong. But
See, the reason why
the suits
sorry,
were the
Amari.
same.
They were
It's the
pretty
same
similar.
suit,
Yeah,
just different tie and shirt.
They were, but if you've watched Suits for 7-8 years and you've watched Harvey
Suits. You don't care. You don't even stop conversations.
Like,
No.
hey, like, what, Harvey Specter Suits. Come on, man.
I enjoyed it. But I say that to say Jamie Foxx dropped a bar where he said something like, the only suit,
It's the white one.
yeah.
I think the only suit they expect a black man to wear is the white one that we're wearing here. Yeah.
Oh, no. It was the janitor one or the white one.
Yeah.
Because he was like.
But it was the way he was delivering these lines as well. Just it was dark. He progressively got better throughout the film. Let's talk about Herbert quickly, because I thought he was another.
No.
You don't want to talk about
I don't
that.
want to talk about Herbert.
Why not?
Because Herbert is part of my favourite scene, so we can't talk
Well,
about
then let's
Herbert.
go into favourite scenes, and you can kick it off with a conversation about Herbert.
Now, this isn't funny, and we shouldn't laugh at this, but for some reason it made me laugh.
It made me laugh as well.
When they were going through Herbert's file, okay, and Herbert is a Vietnam vet, that made the hell it started. That made me think of when we were in Boston, and we'd literally just pulled up at the lights, and that guy tapped on the window, and he started playing his harmonica in the car, talking about he's a Vietnam vet and all the rest of it. And then actually proceeded to read out about his kind of his fourth
mental
grade,
state.
And she said it got so bad that he was running outside and screaming incoming to the neighbours.
That's bad.
I thought to myself,
There's levels. There's levels
it's
of...
not to be laughed at, but for some reason I found it funny. Like, I could imagine him running outside and doing that because he'd just been... This is a man who's given his all for his country, and then... Because did they even explain why he was in death row in the first place?
Oh, because he blew up someone back. Well,
Yeah, he put a bomb outside through a letterbox, wasn't it?
I don't know. They wasn't supposed to be at home or something
Yeah.
like that, and he was at home, and then she died.
But again, it's like bringing it back to the seriousness. It was the fact that, okay, he's done this, but he's in this, this demented state. And again, one of the themes the biggest theme for me of the film was this misrepresentation that all these guys had.
Yeah.
Why they was in this situation in the first place. So yeah, that was my favorite. Just when she was reading that out for various reasons, but one of them being funny when I just know why I found that funny, but I did.
But that's the thing. It's like, I don't think I've seen a film where the subject is obviously racism. It's the white man, suppressing the black man, whatever. But it's the fact that they, not innocent, but the kind of way that they'd been put in prison was, I think, because O'Shea Jackson's character.
He was screwed basically.
They just said, we knew he was guilty by looking at him.
By looking at him, yeah.
Which is just
30 years he was in for.
Yeah, mad.
And obviously
30 years.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx's character.
Well, he wasn't because he was black. He was more because he was a black man sleeping with a white woman.
Yeah.
White woman.
Yeah.
But still,
Oh, I know, but I'm saying he had that was more of a vendetta.
Yeah,
Than an actual. I'm just.
But all
he
these
was deliberately chosen for a reason, if that makes sense.
but all these entities.
And big up to his wife for sticking with him, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But no, it was interesting to see that kind of the way that it was being told in terms of these are it's innocent-ish men. But favorite scene, Amari?
I I just enjoyed a lot of the film. I think
What was most memorable then?
to be fair,
You can't say
I
that.
know, that was too
Just
great.
enjoyed it.
No, to be fair, I think
Oh,
my
no,
favourite thing
nothing
was
favourite,
the.
just
It sounds
enjoy
mad,
most
but
of
it was
it.
just a small little scene I said earlier about with the 60 minutes with the wife looking at Chapman. And
No,
I
it was
like-
good with the kids playing. And
Yeah, and it was like so, and because in my mind you could feel the wife saying, "So if that was our person, our family, if that was me, would you want? Do you think the other person should not let me be free, or what? You think because I don't have somebody else?" And I was like, because I was just thinking all the things that she must have been thinking
yeah.
without even saying to him
In a
and-
look.
just in a look.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's for me. Even though it's not the most important scene, it was
No,
the
no,
most.
it's what's most memorable
it was
for
most
you?
memorable and resonates. Like thinking a look can do a lot.
Agreed. Kyle, about yourself?
Mine was where they were taking Jamie Foxx back to his cell.
Deep scene, man.
Deep, and that's where I was
When
like,
he
this
broke
is
down.
the pinnacle for me of his performance.
That was his bottom if they time in there, isn't it?
Yeah, like when he was resisting going back into the cell, and then he just broke down crying, man. It was deep. There were a few deep. Obviously, when the guy you were just talking about,
Herbert.
Yeah, Herbert,
Hubert,
when he
yeah.
gets executed as well.
That was my favourite scene.
I'll let you talk about that. then,
Yeah,
man. That was deep.
Again, like we've seen these kind of scenes for years, decades, and they will never get overlooked unless they're done really badly. But they'll never get overlooked, or you'll never feel some sort of emotion. But it was the whole the execution. So I'm gonna pick the scene, obviously. Yeah, when he's in a chair, but I'd look at the whole sequence from the night before, from when he's
the lead
crying
up.
and he's
Yeah.
or even from when he gets his date.
Yeah.
And it's even the language, I've got my date. Then it's the night before, and he's like, he's wilding out. He's, what am I-" Jamie Foxx is saying, calm down, don't worry.
We're all
taking
there with
his,
you.
yeah. Then he's getting taken out. Then he's saying bye. And I was saying that, that's it, He's saying, bye. And that's
Yeah.
it. You're not going to see these men again. Then he gets taken to get his hair cut.
Yeah.
Eyebrows, facial hair, all gone. Then he's gone to the actual chair. And like the whole
But even
thing is
before
just,
that, when he's like, these are the nicest people have been to me.
No, that was when he's speaking to Michael B. Jordan, innit?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
after he gets his trim.
Yeah.
So then he's that's right. So
Yeah.
you're right. So then he's having the chat with Michael B. Jordan. Even I think that was one of the scenes for me where Michael B. Jordan, I felt his performance. Like to me at that point, I felt like he felt like really, really bad to be sitting next to someone who knows they're about to die. And then even some of the things Herbert was saying, like,
I got no family. I'm sending you my flag. I hope that's okay. It was a
serious,
touching scene.
serious. And then obviously gets taken to the room, and then again, because we've seen this scene in so many films, we're waiting for the phone call. You're waiting for that. It's not going to happen. He's been pushed. No phone call comes, and then all the guys are screaming, we're with you, we're with you. It was that for me was...
Yeah, when they're banging on the cells, again, I got a feeling.
Just to let him know we're there,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
That was a very sad scene. And I don't, again, I've said it before and I've seen this, I don't get how people can just sit there and actually watch an execution.
Michael B. Jordan
But
again,
again-
like the way he reacted to it, I thought was very
but
realistic.
even just like the public and stuff, I'm just
But again,
like,
in answer to that, if you think about it, yeah, you're right. I don't understand, but you look where we are as a planet. I must be on some sort of planetarian talk today. But look,
you
look
gone
where
to
we are.
space
I know,
over
yeah,
the
yeah.
break, over the hiatus, like
Look where we are. Like, you see people getting executed and all sorts of. I mean, look, there was a
Yeah.
shooting in Streatham today.
Yeah.
And within minutes of that happening, the video was on WhatsApp, on
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah.
And people are desensitized to it. Do you
but I
understand what I'm
think
saying?
I don't know if it's, you see the video, you're just like, wow, I can't believe this. But for you to say, I'm going out of my house, I'm going to sit down.
But that's what people.
and
But
watch
people
this
used to do.
person.
But again,
It's
people, even in this
mad.
country,
Yeah.
go and look up the history of Marble Arch. Go and look at what used to happen at Marble Arch, and the crowds that used to gather just to see what was going on at Marble Arch.
it's something in I think humans' code. Like this conversation's going very deep,
Yeah.
but I feel like
Think back to
that
Gladiators.
lust for
Yeah,
death
yeah.
and for pain
Yeah.
it is in
It's always been there.
everybody's code, but it's more prevalent in some than others. So like you will say, I don't need to see that. There's people that would say, I'd like to see that. I wonder what it's like. I personally don't know if I could either, because then on a very quick one, that leads to my next question. Where's your thoughts on the death penalty? Because I think that's an interesting conversation. Because I'm watching
That's
this
a
scene.
podcast on its own.
That's a
Do you know
separate podcast. Yeah.
Only, all right, in that case, I'll answer.
In a quick, I don't agree with it.
I'll answer.
We
Yeah,
won't go into
very
it,
quickly.
but yeah.
I agree with it.
Depends on
There's
there's a
line.
Yeah.
there's the circumstances.
And that's where I kind of sit. Like watching the scene, like this kind of scene, it makes you think. Like
Because for me, there's some people that just, you know, if they're
committing heinous crimes
and,
with
they're guilty beyond all
bang
you
to
know,
rights.
Yeah,
I did it.
Then
What?
yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, putting them in, you know, for example, I don't know, Fred West, you know, Rosemary West. What was the point in them putting them in jail? It didn't make sense. I know it's in this country, but they're just the two people that come to mind. But
No,
yeah,
I agree. But it that kind of scene, that was such a good scene. It did make me start to ask these kind of questions to myself. But anyway, let's keep it moving.
Wait, just before we do that, one of my favorite character arcs was the guard.
yeah.
I did not like his arc at all.
Oh, interesting.
Because I thought it was more because he's never been. So I think his arc, it kind of was doing the I'm gonna be nice to Herbert because he's dying today. But then when he saw him die,
he changed.
he changed.
He
That's
did
what
change.
changed him.
He did change.
Not the actual.
It didn't come through for me.
No, he did.
I think it did.
That's
I
one
agree
of the
with
things
Sean.
I
I agree.
wrote down. I was like,
and I
why
also,
is he being nice all of a sudden?
He's not
because he was there during. If you look at, there was a scene where they showed. I think he was outside the room. Like he wasn't in the room with everyone else. He was
yeah,
outside. There was a scene where they shot
and they saw his face.
through the door, and he wasn't comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't
like,
comfortable at
Do you
all.
remember the guy in Green Mile
Yeah.
who's like on it?
Yeah.
He
Like,
was. Yeah.
yeah.
He's like
keep
because he's
the
the
thing
one
down.
that
Right.
takes the sponge out because he wants to see.
Yeah.
He wasn't
But
on those levels.
I don't know, because all right, you haven't seen that before, but now you're going from not being a racist to being nice to everyone. I didn't see it.
But that
just
could-
from
but that
seeing
could make
someone.
a man
It
change.
could, but it wasn't enough. They didn't show enough
Yeah,
for
but
me.
I hear that.
I mean, that wasn't a pivotal point of the film, and I get why they didn't dwell on it. But I think they
Just meant
they
for
showed
him,
enough
yeah.
of it to show that actually his moral did change.
But on that for me, and you'll hear my rating, is why I've rated this film what it is, because these kind of films, I've seen so many where they have gone into more depth,
Yeah.
they have gone into more character exploration, gone into maybe more of the story.
But it wasn't about the guards.
But it wasn't that. But that's what I'm saying. This
Whereas
was
Green
a very,
Mile the story was centrally around the guards.
Yeah, but even
And
then, like even if
big
it's
job.
around that, you can still go
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
And that's where this for me, like we'll go into the star ratings in a sec, but it wasn't that. This was kind of like a short dose,
Yeah.
a short hard dose, basically. You know, they could have easily turn this into a TV, you know,
Yeah.
part, like, or they could have made it longer and gone into
Yeah.
his family and gone into like the preface before
Yeah.
he gets put in prison. This was
Yeah.
kind of like a
Well,
short.
We mean little
Like little-
flashbacks.
Yeah.
Of the adultery behavior, which basically put him in his
And that's
position.
all I'm asked. Basically, I wanted to see like what was going on. But anyway, Charles, I'll let you kick this one off.
I'm gonna again. I haven't done any notes on it. I'm liking this, not doing any notes. You know,
It works.
It's
He's
actually-
a trendsetter.
The only thing it hard is remembering exact quotes, but we
yeah.
can
Don't
work
worry
with
about
that.
don't worry about it. It was first day back in the office. I'm gonna give this 3 stars. I think it. Like you said, it's been done before. It will be done again. Probably be done more now, actually, because now everyone's got to be woke and aware of which is a good thing, you know. Why I like these stories because there's so many to tell. You know, I listen to a lot of crime podcasts, and every week there's a new story. There's thousands of these sort of stories where you could actually just turn them into movies. So, did it break any new ground for me? No, I just think it did it. It told the story really well. It didn't spend too long in jail. It didn't spend too long in the courtroom. It didn't spend too long on the appeal. It didn't really get too deep with the characters. It just kind of showed enough, and then kind of moved on. It accelerated the story at a decent pace for me. So yeah, and it had a favourable outcome, you know. Overall, it had a favourable outcome. So yeah, 3 stars from me.
3 stars from Giles. Omari?
4 stars. I get everything that Giles said. I just enjoyed. I just felt myself emotionally involved a lot more than I usually would not because it's the type of film. I just felt emotionally involved. Part of the reason why it's getting 4 stars is because of Jamie Foxx. Part of the reason why it doesn't get 5 stars is because of Jordan. If I'm serious, because if you're the main guy, you have to carry it as the main guy. You carry it as the main guy, so you can't get a 5. But it's one of those films that I would recommend people to watch just for the choice of seeing what it is like and how I thought that people's character arcs, like the guard for me, was actually a very important character, because you need to realize he doesn't even know he's being racist. Whereas
You think he didn't know?
You think he didn't know?
He knew.
no, but but what his definition of racism is and what it is in a.
But they know.
Of course he knows. He made them strip search.
Yeah.
He strip searched a lawyer.
I don't think he thinks he knows he's being racist.
Oh,
I can.
They know. They know what they're doing.
So what you think he
'cause
would
for
have
him- for
made
him
a
to-
white lawyer
Exactly.
strip search?
For him to not know what he's doing would mean
but-
that he doesn't know that Michael B. Jordan was a black lawyer.
Yeah, that was the whole point of that scene. That's what I'm saying. I
They
didn't
definitely
see
know what
that
they're
turn.
doing.
How do you turn from making a lawyer, you really a lawyer, making him strip naked, to being so nice because you've seen someone die?
And again, the way how you think about where the story's set. That's inherently in them.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. He doesn't know
That's
that.
I get what you're saying.
He doesn't know it's racism.
Oh, but they
He's
do know.
just grown into it.
But they
and
do
he's
know.
just
Yeah, you can grow
executing
into
it
something,
as-
but
But you still know what it is. You know what it is.
You still know it's wrong.
You know what it is.
Yeah.
But-
He's different to me. I'm going to treat him different.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But obviously, with me, the sheriff, he knew he was racist.
And
If
the
that
thing
makes
is, no,
sense.
but on that point, I get what you're saying, because it's like where it's just intrinsically in him, he doesn't understand.
So you're saying it's ignorance?
Yeah,
and
basically.
it's even the same situation with Chapman. He was like, it's in him to be favourable to a white guy, etc., etc. It was only until he looked at himself, realizing that he's actually being a racist person, is when he eventually changed his position.
And you know why you're saying that? Because it was the sort of the old guard, as it were. So like where you're introduced to, was it Tom Tate at the start, and you know that he's being racist.
But you know,
and obviously where he's the old sort of timer, and he's kind of brung up Rafe Spall's character, and then it's a generation thing. I get what you're saying,
But again, I don't think he changed his position because he was no longer a racist. It's just the facts, the evidence. You cannot.
Yeah,
back
he could.
that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it got to that point when Michael
So
B. Jordan we had to go to his
case
house.
was proven.
That it just looked ridiculous.
I don't know, because I saw the judge still say that they couldn't acquit based on the evidence provided.
Yeah, that was mad.
So when that judge can do that, that's what you'd call racism.
I don't know. I felt like he was backed into a court. He couldn't defend that. Not that he's no longer a racist per se. I felt like it was just the evidence was too damning. It was too much.
Fairs. But yeah, but that's for me. This is why I was like, okay, cool. This is how people. But this is also in my mind. How do people learn? It's not going to be over one meeting or one conversation. It's going to take years.
You're saying the guard. You talking about his change?
Yeah, but it's also what the guard could also represent in terms of people who live in this.
Because let's be clear, his change isn't American history.
I know that.
Change.
I know that. I'm not.
Let's just.
We're not even. We can't even banter.
Because since we've got a barometer,
that is 5 stars. Just you have to put some respect on that. It's 5 stars.
Since we've got a barometer of racist character changes that we can refer to.
Yes, fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I was sitting there listening to him thinking, hang on.
Adolf Hitler, Inglourious Bastards. Where does he sit on the meter?
Well, he's burnt, Elliot. He's burnt.
So
He's
4
not
stars.
sitting.
4 stars for
4
Mario.
stars, yeah.
Kyle.
Mine is 3, mainly because, again, I've seen it before, but not even in the sense of black injustice, in the sense of the courtroom sort of drama. He's going to go to trial, he's going to lose, then he's going to come back, win the case. That was very formulaic to me. He's going to go through a few struggles here and there, but then ultimately he's going to win in the end. So that's why I gave it 3, because it's not something new I haven't seen before. I thought the performances all round were very good. Again, as we've spoken about, Jamie Foxx, one of the best performances I've seen in a long time. I thought, again, some of the dialogue was brilliant as well. But I just think there were parts of it which dragged towards the end for me, which knocked off a star. I felt like it could have got wrapped up a bit quicker. It kind of dragged it out a bit. So that's why I gave it 3 stars.
3 stars from Carl. And I'm going to finish off the individuals with 3 stars as well. Overall, a decent watch. Nothing outstanding though, in my opinion. As I said at the start, I'm always drawn into films based on true stories, and films regarding racial topics are always quite close to heart. I think the tone was spot on. It wasn't too strong, but it wasn't too light. Perfect balance. Michael B. Jordan is a good lead, and it's great to see him starting to show a bit more like versatility and depth after Marvel. Because even in that, he played quite an interesting character in Marvel.
But he's playing the same kind of role though in Marvel.
However, it's good to see him taking a role like this, because it makes me think you're not scared. You're open to taking roles that you might have to.
He's diverse enough to.
And I still look at him as he's not sort of young in his career, but he's still got a lot of years.
He's still in the early stages. Though.
He's not like a fresh.
He's not a rookie.
Yeah, but he's showing.
He's not an old head.
Exactly.
He's in his sophomore year.
Exactly. And I'm looking at that as okay, so this is what we're doing now. I'm looking at your body of work so far, and it makes me interested in, and I'm hoping, okay, you're going to continue this growth and versatility, and you never know. And off of that, talking about, he's hanging here with Jamie Foxx. Now, obviously, Jamie Foxx's levels, but the fact that he was hanging with him.
Must have learned a lot from Jamie anyway.
I'm looking to see, is Denzel going to pass up? Is he going to say, right, let's do something together? Is he getting the rub from all the great black actors that are going to push him as the leader of the new school? It's promising. It's promising. The storyline was good. It was interesting. It was well told. There's so many stories like that, and this one was well done. And it made me want to go and research and find more out. However, like Kyle was saying, I did feel this was like quite a small, quick look at something which I know it's got more depth to it. And I think that's kind of why this was a 3 and not 4 for me. It just there wasn't enough depth to the film. But it was a very, very good film. And I'm just going to give a shout out to Rafe again. I thought he played a very good part, and the performances all around, as you say, Cole, very good. So that together, we had up our individuals gives Just Mercy.
Go on. No, you do that.
A star rating of 3 stars. A fair rating on that one. You were saying?
I've just looked up what he's about to do.
Who, Michael B. Jordan?
Yes.
After I've just said that.
Well, I was looking. You were talking. I was looking.
It's just going to discredit everything I've just said. What's he doing?
I can feel it.
I'm just saying.
Go on.
He's got an action movie coming up.
Okay.
Now, the action movies are where it could all go.
What franchise?
Will Smithy.
No. Dave Batista.
No. Nothing can go like that. Stop.
Will Smithy.
Oh, Smithy.
Love that.
Yeah, no, he's got a film coming out. It's slated to come out in September, Without Remorse. So he's playing a Navy SEAL, and he goes on the path to avenge his wife's murder.
Same character.
Only to find himself inside. Exactly.
Same character.
And also same characters. Creed 3's on the way as well.
Same character.
Same character.
You're telling me
I don't have a
range and
problem with it.
diversification. I'm not seeing it.
Oh no, there's another one. He's playing a maths teacher.
Okay.
Probably the same character.
No, but the maths teacher has the most hope right now.
Yeah.
It's true.
But unless he's going to be a maths teacher that's going to inspire his kids to do better, then I'm going to be like, okay, this is slightly different. So now we've got a little bit of diversification.
I don't mind it.
But the maths teacher film's only been announced, so
So we got hope.
yeah.
All right, cool. But you know, it's interesting when you say the new school, because obviously we're seeing Michael B. Jordan, and we've got my guy coming up in the next film that we're reviewing, and we're talking about the new school wave of actors, of leads. So it's...
And that's something else. You just reminded me of my final point for that film. I think it's good, and I think I said this to you, to see a young black actor delving into these historical, racially charged films for the modern generation today, who I feel are at the most distance from that history. Like,
But
do you
will the
see what
modern
I'm saying?
generation go and see this? I don't think they will.
But
They'll go and watch Bad Boys for Life.
But the fact that Michael B. Jordan's in it, he does have some pulling power.
I hope so.
Especially off of Black Panther.
What are the numbers?
But it's got an indie vibe feel to it.
True,
so
true.
I don't expect the numbers to be that big. to
True,
be fair.
but it's a film that I think, you know, if people are saying, "Oh, have you seen this? Have you seen that?" It's got Killmonger
It's
in it.
a word of mouth film, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's good to see that he's doing those kind of films as well, because the youth are in trouble, man. Like, you know,
you for today, if you're listening, please go and watch Just
it's
Mercy.
true. Yeah, all those kind of films.
You need to understand
The opportunities you have from other
You need to
people's
understand.
struggles.
Trust me.
Those movie review guys.
Subscribe to the podcast and stream full episodes on all major platforms.